Here's how the Wonderman series could create a new Avengers team. This is Nerdist Now. In the pantheon of superhero names, there are quite a lot of mans. Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and everybody's favorite, Demolition Man.
I would like you to accompany me to Taco Bell.
There's no shortage of man-based comic book characters, but with the news of Yahya Abdul-Mateen II being cast as Wonderman in the MCU, we figured it was a great time to talk about the only Marvel hero to have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and how he might affect the MCU moving forward. Announced back in June, there's little official information about Marvel's live-action Wonderman series. We know that Shang-Chi and Avengers the Kang Dynasty director Daniel Destin Cretton is involved in the show, along with Hawkeye co-producer Andrew Guest. Cretton is slated to direct and executive produce the series, with Guest serving as the head writer. The only thing we know for sure is that the show will bring back Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery, the down-on-his-luck actor turned fake international terrorist turned faceless pet wrangler. That was weird, right? I get there's the payoff to that Marvel one-shot All Hail the King, but I don't know, whatever. Anyway, Iron Man 3, innocent.
So now you're just gonna leave me here, like my dad?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to be digging into Wonder Man's weird history, but if you want to read more about the chief himbo of Marvel, Eric Diaz has you covered over on Nerdist.com. And to talk about how Wonder Man can possibly shake up the MCU, we're going to be touching on things about WandaVision, She-Hulk, and a few other movies and series, so if you're worried about spoilers for any reason at all, this is your chance to leave. Like so many comic book characters created in the 1960s, Wonder Man's history in the comics is overly convoluted. Created by Stan Lee and Don Heck, Wonder Man debuted in 1964's Avengers #9. Before he was Wonder Man, he was Simon Williams, the adult fail son of industrialist Sanford Williams. Old Sanford left his son complete control of his business when he died, which is the smartest thing to do. Give a 22-year-old who's no real business experience control of a multi-billion-dollar company. Now, like so many companies in Marvel Comics, Stark Industries eventually moved in on their turf, and that caused Simon to turn to the Maggia crime family for financial support. And that went about as well as you'd expect. After being sentenced to prison for embezzlement of that sweet, sweet cash, Simon was busted out by Enchantress and taken to Baron Zemo, who recruited him to the Masters of Evil for two specific reasons. Number one, they both fucking hate Tony Stark. Number one, they both really fucking hate Tony Stark. And number two, Zemo needed a guinea pig to test his ionic ray on, which turned Simon into the towering beef castle that we know as Wonder Man. The ray gave him wondrous powers, including but not limited to superhuman strength, speed, and invulnerability. That last one is particularly important. Wonder Man eventually switched sides to the Avengers, but also fell into a deep coma thanks to Zemo's ionic ray experiment. He would later be reanimated as a zombie and then shipped back to the Avengers in a wooden crate, which is the preferred way to ship a superhero. Wonder Man has lived a lot of lives in the comics, mainly as a successful stuntman and actor thanks to his powers of invulnerability. And he's also been a member of the West Coast Avengers, where he and one Wanda Maximoff would meet and create one of the most chaotic love triangles in all of comics. We did a whole breakdown about the upcoming Vision series and the Vision Quest comic arc on which it could be based, which you can check out right here. Anyway, it's important to note that Vision and Wonder Man are very much intertwined in the comic books. As we see in Avengers Age of Ultron, Vision's personality matrix included aspects of Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Ultron, and the AI Jarvis, with a liberal dash of the Mind Stone acting as the Paprikash in this unholy recipe.
Is that Paprikash?
In the comics, Ultron created Vision and developed his mind by fashioning it after Wonder Man's brainwaves. This brainwave connection between the two led to Wonder Man and Vision considering each other as surrogate brothers. That is, until things got a little bit messy. During the Vision Quest arc in West Coast Avengers, things went south when Vision was kidnapped by rogue agents from multiple government agencies because he was considered too great of a threat. He was dismantled, had his brain and memories wiped, and was reconstructed as the emotionless White Vision, almost exactly like we saw in WandaVision. In the comics, Wanda tried to reconstruct Vision, which meant that she needed the brain waves from which Vision's mind was constructed. And naturally, this led her to Wonder Man. But when Wanda asked for Simon's help, her longtime teammate refused to share his brain patterns again. Wonder Man revealed that he had developed feelings for Wanda, so he wanted Vision out of the picture so he could cut in. Now, Wonder Man hasn't been seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe yet, unless you count that deleted Simon Williams Film Festival, which was cut from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And the last time we saw Wanda, she was renting a lovely space at the bottom of Mount Wundagore. So we most likely won't see their longtime friendship from the comics play out in the series. But with the recent announcement of a Vision series tentatively titled Vision Quest, it feels like the MCU is getting ready to set up their version of the West Coast Avengers, and a hot and messy will they won't they? Or Vision's gonna become a D1 wrestler who finds love. It's a joke for like 3 people. Are you one of them?
Hey, Loudon, kick his ass.
Now, we here at Nerdist typically subscribe to the if we don't see a body, they're not dead theory, so Wanda coming back in either of these shows feels like a given. I mean, how are you gonna cast a certified hunk like Yahya as the himbo king of Marvel and not put him in sexy and potentially dangerous situations?
I'll take it.
Now again, this is all speculation, but the announcement of a Vision series and a Wonderman show in the same week is lighting up the comic book connection centers of our brains. Love triangles aside, the setup for a West Coast Avengers team kind of feels inevitable. After leaving the Avengers to become a full-time movie star, Wonderman ended up co-founding the West Coast Avengers with Hawkeye, Mockingbird, Tigra, and War Machine, and we know that he'll be popping up at least in Ironheart, Secret Invasion, and the Armor Wars movie. And while it looks like that Hawkeye and Mockingbird are busy LARPing Stardew Valley, we know that Kate Bishop eventually makes her way to Los Angeles in the comics and becomes the leader of the West Coast Avengers as well. Wasp, Ant-Man, Moon Knight, and Iron Man are also original recruits to this West Coast Avengers regiment, but we know that at least one of those isn't happening in the MCU. He did. But with She-Hulk firmly planted in Los Angeles, Scott and Janet in San Francisco, and Moon Knight wherever the hell Moon Knight is, there's definitely enough star power to cobble together the West Coast Avengers. Because folks, we all know that Disney isn't brave enough to give the people what they really want, and that's a Great Lakes Avengers movie trilogy. We see you, you cowards! One Mr. Immortal guest appearance is not enough!
Any of the ends are switching identity.
So while there's still no word on when Wonderman will air, it does feel like Wonderman, Wanda, and Vision are destined to cross paths. But tell us folks, what do you think? How do you think Wonderman's gonna play out in the MCU? When do you think we'll see Wanda again? And were you one of the 3 people that got that Vision Quest joke? Are there 4 of us out there?
Shut up, Koosh.
Anyway, let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, make sure you stay tuned to Nerdist.com.